This video is supported by Central Oregon Radio, Central Oregon's #1 internet station. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the RangerRob Country Living Podcast. And yes, you get to the greatest people in the whole wide world, myself, and of course, the legendary Aimee from Butterfly Farm. How are you?
Hello. Good. Good night.
So it's you and I today, and actually, you and I have never got to do a show together. You realize that?
I didn't realize that. How fun!
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna tear it up. So before I get going, of course, I've got my normal announcements. I have to let you know that obviously you saw that we got Central Oregon's radio running again and up and running, and we have some new goals for it. And so, yep, it's up and running. It's running really well. And if you have any questions, there's lots of information on how different ways you can listen to Central Oregon Radio. Of course, this show is also on that program too. So now we're part of Central Oregon Radio, and kind of exciting, and we're still programming it. So I bet you we only have like 60% of the music actually in is over 4,000 tracks that we have to put in it. It takes time. So yeah, it's been keeping us busy. We're slowly, if you might be hearing a couple of commercials a little more often and stuff until we get the other stuff loaded. We're working on it. So yeah, very busy and excited to have it running again. So yeah, if you have any questions about wanting to be on, it's designed to help the community, help. I mean, we're talking like churches, food banks, farms, anything. Just give us a holler. Most likely we'll kind of donate time to you. All we ask is eventually maybe give us a donation or something, but really it's not all about the money, it's about the community. So that's really what Central Oregon Radio is all about. So moving on, how do you listen to this podcast? Well, a lot of people like the audio version of this. In fact, it's very popular. So we're also on Spreaker is our main platform, which goes out to iHeartRadio, Spotify, all kinds of different things, Amazon, Play, a whole bunch of other platforms. So if you have a cell phone and you're listening to podcasts through your software, just go into the search, type in RangerRob Country Living Podcast. Most likely it will come right on up. Just put us in your subscriptions, and you can listen to our shows anytime you want. We are actually on episode 49 now. We're almost hitting the big 50.
Wow.
So, yeah, getting there.
That's great.
So, what was that? Oh,
that's really great.
I'm sorry. I'm not all here today. I'm by myself this week. I'm a bachelor.
Oh,
it's
no.
Terrible. Yeah. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Well, I got to tell you now. So Sherry's gone all this week. She works for a school district, and she's gone all week at a conference over in Portland, which she's just totally excited. Anyway, so there's something weird going on here, and I actually kind of made a little video about it today. But all of our automated systems here are down. I mean, everything. Nothing's working because I do dishes, and the dishwasher doesn't get unloaded by itself. It's kind of weird. And when I go to bed and then when I get up, the bed looks the same way as it did when I went to bed. I mean, got out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then like dog toys. We got dog toys. You know, the 2 dogs, and there's toys all over the living room. And normally in the morning, it's gone. They're all gone. And it's like, what is going on? And then when I do put dishes in the sink, they're still there. And so it's like, I've actually had to do the dishes a few times. It's really, really weird. All the automated systems in the house here are down. Every one of them. I've looked all over trying to figure out what's broken. I can't figure it out. I've been doing these things manually. It's really odd. And so anyway, so it's a kind of a phenomenon going on in the household here. But I'm sure when Sherry gets back, she can explain what's going on.
Maybe she can help find someone to fix that for you.
I hope so. I really do.
Jack says it was Russia.
It was what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cyber attack. Oh, my gosh. And Elijah's out in the barn locking up. So listen, the best way the animals stay quite. Yep. John Pierce is in here. See, John actually has some pigs. He's getting some pigs from us. So he's
Awesome.
going to be a piggy owner pretty soon. Looking forward to meeting him. We got Small Town Tourist, which is John Smith. He's with us, and Elliot. And by the way, Jack, this might sound funny. I've got to send something to him, and he's been very nice to me about, Rob, would you please send them? The problem is I can't find a box that fixes, because we just went to the dump, right? Got rid of all the cardboard, and I don't have a box to fit all the things that he wants from us. So I am working on that. I found one box, but it's too small. So Jack, I am working as fast as I can. And without Sherry here, all automated systems are down. So bear with me. So,
Oh goodness.
you guys are buying that story. Well, anyway, so the news around here, real quick. My briefing before we get into our subjects here is Sherry's gone, of course. I still got to castrate a pig, and so we have the little itty bitty pig that is a little teeny guy. We've been so busy, we had to slide it from last weekend. He's still a teeny weeny little piggy, so we're going to do him this Sunday when Sherry gets back. I'm also learning and starting getting the materials to tag pig ears, the little tags, because it's getting like, we just got another order for 2 more pigs yesterday. And so now it's getting like, okay, we got to stay organized. And I was kind of against it. I don't know how you feel about tags and ears, but I'm getting to a point where like, I think I need something to kind of like, that pig goes to that person, that pig goes to another person.
It serves a purpose.
Yeah, and some of them look the same. When you got like, in Idaho pasture pigs, there's always a lot of brown and black ones. And they all, at first glance, they kind of all like look the same. So it's like, it'd be kind of nice to have something in their ear. So I got to learn how to do pig tags this weekend and install them in people's ears, in the piggy's ears. And then
this is actually the tag that came out of Meatloaf's ear. You can see it says Butcher Heifer. So she has graduated, since she is a valuable member of the community now. This was her ear tag when we got her. It said Butcher Heifer, and Dustin cut it out of her ear and told her, "No, you're a valuable member of the community." But I kept it for a keepsake.
So how'd you get it out of her ear?
A pair of wire cutters and a pair of needle nose pliers together.
Oh, gotcha. Because I got one in Sparky's ear from the person I bought him from, and he really doesn't need it. So I've been kind of thinking about, I'm not sure if I want to leave, because then it leaves kind of a hole in his ear too. So I don't know.
Yeah, then they're the punk rock pig, punk rock cow, with the big holes in their ears.
So Jack's joking in here. So the last time I sent something to him, I used a Chewy box. And unfortunately, all my Chewy boxes we've took apart and put in the garbage this weekend. And so I'm digging around. I will find something, Jack. I gotta go up to the big shop. I'm sure there's something there. So anyway, and we'll get it shipped out. And then last but not least, obviously, we've been working on the radio station. And it's kind of funny. I still think the music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s are always going to be the best. And, occasionally I put a little 90s pop in there, like there'll be some Britney Spears and things like that. There's a couple tunes that they came up with. But after that, there isn't a whole lot of great songs out there. And so you'll find Central Oregon radios, we are licensed, but you'll find that we tend to play a lot of classic rock, classic country, and also nice, I just say really nice, easy listening music that can go back actually all the way to the 40s, but it's very picked through. It's stuff that's just really good. So along with the syndicated shows we have coming and all that kind of stuff. So I think I got all the main stuff covered. And today's subject is getting ready for fall and winter, basically. I put winter on there, but really it's fall and winter. And so can you feel fall in the air?
Yes, absolutely. We are, the smoke in the air doesn't help with daylight. And I know we'll have a time change here soon. But the last week and a half, we've been milking the cow at night by flashlight.
I saw that.
And then even, I go out in the morning, wear a sweatshirt. It's no more shorts and tank top for morning chores weather. That's for sure.
Yeah. So why are you milking your cow in the dark now? Can't you just kind of start it earlier, or is it a schedule thing?
It's a schedule thing. She really ideally it should be 12 hours in between. So if I
Gotcha.
milk at 7:30 in the morning, then I want to milk at 7:30 at night. And we've had a lot of family in town lately visiting, which is fabulous. But so doing combined meals, big family dinners, which are fabulous experience for the kids. You visit around the dinner table, but we find ourselves going out to milk and do final chores, a little later than usual. It's good to sit around and
Up. We're back. Okay, we
we're
are back. Yes,
Okay.
we are back. Apparently, it's going to be one of them days. I can tell it. So a little bit of internet interference there. Apologize. Anyway, we use Starlink. You guys use Starlink now, don't you?
We do. Yeah.
Yeah, it usually works really pretty good, but occasionally, just out of the blue, we'll get a little bit of a pulse problem. Jack goes, I know it, an electronic winter freeze.
He's not giving up on that conspiracy theory there.
Yeah. So he's just I think he's just trying to pray that I get a Chewy box in this week. So he's been after me.
We have always found you don't really need cardboard boxes. You always have a huge stack of them. You never need them until like right after you go to the dump. That's when you need the boxes. Just the way it works.
Yeah, I get some comments about eggs too. Elijah had a note about his eggs. He said, believe it or not, egg production's back up. They like the cooler nights. That's interesting. And mine are about the same, but it's just now cooling. But I haven't noticed a change in count in your eggs. How about your eggs? My egg.
I was actually going to ask you about that. So everyone is laying. I sold 2 18 packs yesterday, and then Zoe brought me another 12 today. Are your Rhode Island Reds, your new chicks from this year, laying? Because the ones that we got from you are laying.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, well, I gotta admit, I got to feed my animals after the show tonight, so I'll take a look. Because about every other day, I'll check the laying boxes, but I haven't seen anything, so I haven't been in a hurry yet. But I know it's close. But that's cool. So that means my production will go from 5 to 7 a day to 15.
Yeah.
So and we actually sell a lot of eggs through Sherry's work and things like that. So we actually have not been freeze drying eggs for a long time. We actually did some last weekend, but we were doing it every weekend. But we've actually been selling so many eggs that actually we haven't been able to do freeze drying. And so, but once these new ones, my other 10 start laying, then we'll be at surplus again. And if that happens, we'll freeze dry, and anything extra after that, we'll give to the pigs and stuff. So interesting. But I haven't seen John says his is the same. So John, your egg production up or even or what? And Elijah says he's getting like 30. Wow. Getting 30 some a day. What do you do with 30 eggs a day, Elijah? Mine are exhibition birds, though, all different breeds. Are you hatching too? Curious. All right. So you and I, we wanted to talk about fall and winter. Yes. And actually, you kind of brought this up, and it kind of went with the show last week a little bit. We were kind of talking about goals and changes and things like that. So it's definitely is cooler out, but not really cool on like mid-afternoon. Now, I got to tell you something. I'll tell you one more story, and then we'll get back to. So yesterday, about 4 o'clock, I guess, right after I fed the dogs, I go strolling out to the backyard, getting ready to feed the pigs. And in the grass in our main yard, not was Zelda. She was walking around just like a cat or dog in our main yard. She went through the big gate, came out, and she was just munching on the grass and stuff. As I'm coming out, she sees me and gives me the old happy oink and comes running up to me to say hello. And it's like, "Hi, Zelda. What the heck are you doing on your paddock?" And so I walk down to the cans. I grab a scoop, put some food in it. She's right there, followed me all the way to her paddock. No biggie at all. She's like a puppy dog. Yeah. And I just, and it turns out I have her fence off because I have the fence for the 5 little brats double energized to keep them, which has been working. And Zelda's never gotten out before. So she's been off for like 3 or 4 days. I don't even have an energizer on it. And so apparently she just got bored and she was chewed on the fence a little bit, actually damaged it because I used the Premier ones. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so I had to go steal the energizer from the chickens and put it on her fence but I haven't had any trouble since. But it was just kind of weird. Like, she's just acting like nothing's new. She's like, "Hi, Rob, I'm here." And she's such a sweet. I'm telling you guys, if you ever get a Idaho pasture pigs, you'll fall in love with them. Even if you know you're gonna harvest them, still the time you have with them is just adorable. So anyway, so it was kind of a cute thing. But I wasn't even videotaping yesterday, so I didn't even get it on tape. But anyway, it was kind of funny. But okay, so now we're getting back to the subject of fall and winter. Now that we can smell it in the air, we know it's kind of happening. You can kind of see the change of color from some of our plants, but this is high desert, so you don't see a lot of it. So what's some of the main things that are starting to kind of hit your brain that's going, "Oh my gosh, here comes the cold weather"? What do you need to start doing?
Well, I'm seeing it a lot in my excuse me, in my flower garden. You know, it's the end of season for a lot of my flowers. I know a lot of people's gardens are still going strong, and I haven't been watering as much with the cooler weather and just school starting for the kids. So I'm kind of letting my flower garden go. But one big thing on my mind is it's about time to collect seeds from whatever plants that I want to collect seeds from, especially the flowers. And even in the green beans, our green beans have been going strong. We've been canning green beans. Yes, trimming trees right along those lines. And so we've been saving some of the pea pods. There's kind of a section in the garden where we said, leave those ones there. They're drying out. And then we have a little cup in the kitchen that we've been saving seeds from. So saving seeds is a big one. Collecting seeds, and then also, pulling the dead plants. You and I were both talking about corn. We've been pulling some corn stalks here, and we're going to come over and get some more corn from you. So looking around the garden, seeing what needs to be done, collect the seeds.
Yeah, see my greenhouse. My tomatoes are to the roof and climbing up the roof.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, but now they're slowing down in tomatoes. I can already see that, but I'm still getting tomatoes, believe it or not. But,
wow.
Yeah. By the way, I was going to let you know is if you want some okra seeds, I don't know if you guys want okra. I'm letting a whole bunch of okra go to seed on the plants. So if you want some, just let me know, because I've got these like 1 foot long okras sitting on a plant. It's like, I've got to have lots of seeds to give out. So if you want some okra, let me know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It sounds like you and I would live miles away. She's only like 5 minutes away, guys.
5 minutes.
But yeah, I never see her except when I got to return milk bottles.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so what were we talking about? Oh, fall and winter, right? So the garden. Oh my gosh, I can see the corn starting to change, especially since I'm cutting it down. Like every other day, I'm cutting the big sections out, taking it out to the pigs. I'm going, there's a few more brown leaves at the bottom. And of course, that's the corn that ripened first. So they're already kind of browning a little bit. So But all my corn in the back is all still green because they just matured a week or two ago. So anyway, so we're still picking corn. In fact, I pulled some corn and it didn't get cooked by itself. The automated system's down. So after the show and I feed the piggies, I got some corn and the automatic husker thing. It's not working either. So I know it's just down. Everything technology had just gone kaput here.
It's crazy.
So anyway, so we're still eating corn over here, but I got a feeling it's starting to turn on me. So it gets a little bit on the mushy side, and everybody's going to ask me, well, did you preserve it? And the answer is we really wanted to.
Yeah.
It was just, we've had company or we had these going on or things, and we're just not getting the preserving done. So I've actually we kind of dropped the ball on preserving, but we did do a lot of tomato sauce. We did like 30 or 35 pounds of tomatoes over the weekend, and then that shot the whole day because Sherry was stuck kind of with that. So anyway, but yeah, as far as preserving, it's been really bad. But nothing goes to waste still because we got our animals, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but so the gardens have been wonderful, and the people preserving and doing stuff have been terrible. So I need help.
Doing its job.
I need your kids.
Yeah.
I only want them for a few hours. I'll give them back when I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just enough to get enough. Have them go work the yard a little bit, and then I'll call you up and say, you can have them back before they start arguing and fighting.
Oh, I warn you, they're going to want a snack. Seems like they always want a snack all the time. They're bottomless pits, so.
That's right. Snacks are good. There's no lack of snacks here. So, we take good care of them. They will not starve. What's Elijah got? He loves to. Elijah likes to do seed saving, but don't do it every year. I need to. I'm really. You have to tell me how it goes because, tell you the truth, we've never seed saved. So we should. He rotates around different crops time to time. Usually saves enough for each variety for 3 to 4 years. So that's actually all of us should be doing that. And I should do that with Jet Stars, but I still go buy the seeds from the commercial people. But Elijah, you're making us look bad. So okay, so now you've seen your garden go to pot and stuff like that. Are you stressing out now because it's time to get it cleaned up, or what?
I try really hard not to stress. I will be completely honest. I've had many conversations with Jesus lately, to be completely honest, just to not stress. We have had a lot of family in town, on and off, kind of even rotating, some here this week, some here next week. We have a big birthday party for my great niece this weekend, expecting 50 people. But then, it wasn't that long ago that our house actually got finished. We got our occupancy permit to move in. Again, totally honest, not totally unpacked. So the list is long and spans multiple avenues, not just. Oh, go ahead.
You broke up a little bit there, so. I have a question for you because you artichokes. Your mom. Your mother-in-law gave me 3 of them, and 2 of them were kind of like, but one of them's really going at it. But there's nothing coming out of the top yet. And I assume, since I just saw this note from Elijah, that I should have an artichoke coming up pretty soon. I imagine. I know nothing about it other than the fact I planted some because of your mother-in-law, and so is that true?
Just not yet. Yeah, it's just not yet. So I hope that the frost and everything holds off for all these late crops.
Yeah, so I don't know expect, but I do think I'm going to have some butternut squash. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get any, but now it looks like I'm going to get tons of it. So obviously you're going to have to come over and borrow some, take some from us. Yeah. Anyway.
Great.
Yeah, busy. Okay, I got some notes.
All right.
What do we got here? Did I mention that our automated systems over here are broken?
I don't know if you might be too old for bachelor life now.
I think so. It's like, I told Sherry I got to croak first because it'd be it'd be pitiful by myself, I'm telling you.
Oh,
So anyway, fall and winter prepare. These are some questions actually I can answer some along with you, but you have some animals I don't. Starting with chickens, are you now we're going in? We kind of touched on that a little bit, like the people saying that the eggs are production's going up, but now we kind of what are things you think about with your chickens that you need to start doing to prepare for colder weather and things like that?
We don't do heat lamps. We don't have electricity out to our chicken coop, so we don't do heat lamps, and we don't do ice de-icing like heaters in their water. We don't do that either. So we have the chickens are pretty much set for the winter. It was just this will be our first winter with my new coop that Dustin built me. Fabulous new coop. But he built it with all of our seasons in mind. And so the coop is set. We will, when winter gets here, we will have to, break the ice. But their body heat keeps them warm. So chickens, check that one off the list for over here. They are set for winter.
Elijah's like, you're keeping us going, Elijah. It's good. We don't mind a bit. We're slow and old. I'm old, so it was like you can type as fast as you want. I can only go so fast. But artichokes, I didn't realize are a perennial.
Huh. I don't think I did either.
Yeah. Now this is your mother-in-law that did this to us. So anyway, so now I got these artichokes and they're growing. I don't have the little funny pretty top on them yet, but
not yet.
Anyway, it's interesting to see what they're doing. And by the way, flies are attracted to artichokes. I don't know why, and maybe Elijah might have something to say about that. But when you go in the garden, you'll notice like little flies and stuff are all on that plant, but all the rest of the plants are fine. There's something that an artichoke smell or something it secretes that the flies like it. So it's kind of weird. Sherry and I both have noticed it. But,
that's interesting.
Can't tell you why, but maybe Elijah can. I'm going to make him type again. So you don't. How do you deal with the water with your chickens if it freezes?
We go out and break the ice.
Oh yeah.
And bring fresh water out.
Okay, so that's basically what we do too.
Yeah.
We use those rubber bowls, which are great because you just turn them inside out and the ice pops right out.
Yeah. Yeah. So the chickens, we don't worry about them.
Gotcha. All right. Moving on to another animal, pigs. Now you got one pig now,
yes.
which I understand pretty much runs the entire property.
She does.
Yeah. So she got you just got a pig from us. I cannot repeat the name. What's the name of your pig?
Elsa
McGriddle.
Elsa McGriddle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Elsa, like the movie Frozen.
Yeah.
The Disney movie Frozen. Yeah. Elsa McGriddle.
I have a little trouble relating Elsa to a pig, but I'll do what I can. But it is a pretty pig, though. You got a pretty pig.
She's
anyway,
gorgeous.
So I understand you just have her roaming pretty freely in the property.
She acts like a dog. She's just another dog. I have 2 goats that are also dogs. So right now the pig and the goats and the dogs are all together.
Yeah.
But she has her own little house she sleeps in because the goats go to the barn at night and the dogs come in the house at night. And the pig and the goats would also like to come in the house at night, but that's not allowed. So.
Yeah. It's cute. I had to come over and see the setup.
And I have to compliment you because I have had 2 separate people over in the last few days who have made mention of Elsa's personality. They said, I've never seen a pig with a personality like this. And they said, and you told me, but I didn't believe you till I had our own. So I'm getting multiple compliments about the personality of these pigs. And my uncle said, you sure you want to eat her? You should just make her he was trying to talk me into it just like you are. He said, you should make her a breeder. You could eat her babies, but you don't want to eat that pig. That's a nice pig.
I know. It's like well, you imagine I've had 22 new piglets, and I've got to watch them all go as feeders, or I haven't sold any of as breeders yet. Um,
Oh,
so that means that all of them are feeders right now. So I know all these piglets are going to the butcher in in late spring, and so it's like how sad, because there's some real pretty ones, and so if you can't
yeah,
sell them as a breeder, then we tend to I'll hold on, and like I got one or two of the real gems. I'm going to hold on to them because I just think if a breeder comes along, they're going to go wow, because I mean they're
yeah,
just amazing. Um, but the rest of them, if they're on the edge of being a breeder or not, I got to let them go as a feeder, because I can't sit here and feed pigs. You can't have
yeah.
extra animals if you're
I
not
keep them
doesn't have
all.
a purpose.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So piggies, are you doing me for the winter? It's funny. The pigs don't have to really change. I mean, we make sure they have a little more hay, keep them out of the wind, but they're quite hardy. They can handle cold weather really well. So there's really nothing there. But our biggest thing is going to be the same thing that I'm asking about the chickens, is how you're going to deal with water. We have the same problem. I may have to um, maybe get a tank going here at the house with warm water, and then wheel it to the back of the property, which I do have a tank to do that with, and
Yeah.
empty the water, because we have rubber bowls like you do, and then just give them fresh water every day through the tank that's been warmed up. So I
Yeah.
mean that's only extreme cold, but anyway, but yeah, darn freezing temperatures, that it really causes a lot of work sometimes.
It does. Same
Yeah,
with the extreme heat. So it's a high
yeah,
desert for you.
and I think we'll be kind of in good shape till about, I don't know, December or something like that, and then we'll get that snap cold, and then we'll be kind of locked in for a month and a half.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, so pigs, we got kind of covered. Cows, what are some of the things that are coming up because of the change of weather, like milking, process changes there, um, feed? What are some things that come to mind that fall and winter will affect you?
Well, for my birthday last year, my sister got me a pair of Carhartt overalls, and they are my best friend in the wintertime. I will layer, and my Carhartt overalls are thick enough, and so I get all bundled up. I know that's not about the animals, but I don't like the cold, and I get cold easy. So
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Dustin and his uncle, the last time he was here, they did build me a cover to go over my milk stand, um, because this will be the first winter that I've been milking, because Meatloaf, we didn't start milking till April of this last year. So that was almost springtime. But now I'll be out of I don't know about the wind, but the rain and the snow won't be on me or Meatloaf while I'm milking. So I think the cover is going to be a real blessing.
Yeah, now does the colder weather and the milking, is that affected at all in colder weather? Does it slow down? That can affect her production or anything
Not
for
like the
milk?
heat did. That week that we had 108 to 113 days, her production was lower during the heat, but the cold shouldn't do that.
Hmm, interesting.
So
Well, let's move on to your horses.
the horses, whew, have I mentioned before that I think that horses are more trouble than they're worth?
Hmm.
I hope Aubrey's not watching this. The horses, we start blanketing the horses if it's under 25 degrees at night. So I know we've got some time before we get to that point. But now, last winter we had 2 horses. This winter we have 4. And it takes a while to catch everybody. It's like, catching a bunch of kids to put their pajamas on. It's bedtime. You got to put your pajamas on. And not everybody likes their coats being put on.
Hmm.
So, and then, so at night, if it's under 25 degrees, we blanket the horses. And then in the morning, you need to watch if the temperature, what time of day it's going to get high enough, because that changes. And then when it gets about, 30 degrees or so, then we got to pull everybody's coats off them, put their coats away for the day. So the horses are a bit more work in the wintertime. And we do have tank heaters for the horses' water, and the cows, because they go through so much water.
Yeah.
Like in the summertime, Meatloaf was drinking 40 gallons a day when it was really hot. So
I actually use tank heaters for the piglets last year. My pigs were piglets then. So I'll probably end up doing that again too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing like burn up more electricity.
Right.
Bring it on.
Everybody needs
Goats.
water.
You got any thing special you're doing for your goats?
As long as they have shelter, goats hate water. I think it was maybe 2 days ago. We had just like, I'm sure it was 4 raindrops came out of the sky. That was it. And the goats immediately they went under their little house. They did not like being wet. So as long as the goats have shelter, they're fine.
So one thing, I don't know if your pig has done it yet. I keep having these. Today I actually got on camera, but I told you Zelda got out and she's a sweetheart and stuff. But her big thing is she likes her belly rubbed. So, and she usually would trace Sherry's around. Sherry would just say hello, hi Zelda, and rub her nose a little bit, and then she just goes to the ground and exposes her belly. Yeah. So, of course, I'm kind of yesterday I was kind of mad at her, but I wasn't mad at her. But anyway, but as soon as she gets in her paddock, I rub her nose, say, stay out of trouble, and plop. It's like, I don't have time right now, Zelda. rub her tummy. And she's making all her noises. She gets up, and I'm doing a few more things. And as soon as she sees me again, plop. And it's like, wait till I think the females are more belly. Well, the males are known for belly rubs too. But anyway, it'd be cute to see if you're something about belly rubs. IPP pigs love. So I'm curious to find out if yours starts doing that on you. But it's cuter than heck. But it does take more time out of your day. Yep. So, but I think it's good because if you ever breed and you do that with your pig, when they are actually having farrowing, they're kind of used to having you there, touching them and rubbing their belly if you want to be there to assist while they're having their babies. But both of my pigs were really good about that anyway. So, but I don't know. It just came to mind this little poof, this cuteness. So anyway, getting back to so goats are pretty easy, but they hate water. What are do you guys have any actually water problems as far as when winter comes? Like, are you having a hard time getting water out to your fields from freezes or anything like that? Or do you have another backup system or something that you fall back on?
And that is something I had on my list. So I'm glad you brought it up. Last weekend when there was the big whole ranch wide garage sale, I saw, I don't know what they're called. They're styrofoam. You put them over the faucets on the outsides of the house. And it keeps it, it protects the faucet when it's freezing. Yeah. So I was making sure that we had some of those because I saw a whole bunch of them at a garage sale. But someone told me that we had enough, so I didn't buy them. But the pump house where we get the water for the horses, we have a small heater that stays in there. It keeps it from freezing. Yep. But now, this weather that we have right now, we have hoses, of course, running everywhere. Well, come wintertime, you can't leave the hoses out with water in them because they will freeze. So there will be much more of putting hoses away, bringing them out, putting hoses away, bringing them out every single day.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I got too far to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not kidding. I probably am running 2 to 3 100-foot hoses just to get out to the pigs.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am not rolling that kind of stuff up. They'll stay in place, but I'll be disconnecting from the house. But, but I do quick releases that kind of makes that a little easier. But it seems like, I don't know, every time I do that, there's pressure in the line and it's like freezing out and you pop them and you get a shower. In 5-degree weather, kind of nice.
Yeah.
So Elijah seems to be a very busy person.
Yeah, he does.
Sells does, bucks, cut back in the winter. Oh, you're cutting back in the winter. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm going to be cutting back too. I'm just trying to get rid of piglets right now. I only got 3 does and 2. What's a doling? A doling? Did he make that word up?
No, that's a girl baby goat. A baby girl goat.
A goat is called a doling? Really?
A little one, because does are adult females. So a doling would be a young female.
You mean to tell me I learned something today? Yeah. My head's going to explode. So then it'd be a buckling would be a boy then. Okay. Doling and buckling. I'll be damned. The sheep, donkey, and two pigs. Those are our big animals. So he's cutting back. It looks like.
Yeah.
And sounds like you've actually got bigger. You got two more horses and now a pig.
Yeah.
So, John was asking, "What's your plans this winter?" It's my time to work on the house projects. There's always house projects here. It never stops, whether it's winter or not. It doesn't mean I'm going to get them done, but I'm like Amy. If it's cold outside, there ain't going to get many projects are going to get done outside.
Yeah.
Except I do need to build some more shelters. But anyway.
Yeah. So the pricing, the faucets, the hoses, something that, we also have an outbuilding that seems to be losing shingles. Like there's on the very bottom row, they're sliding down. And my husband's a contractor, but I'm on the bottom of his to-do list because there's people with money who get their projects done before me. But I did put that on my list because that's another thing that, you don't want the roof under there to get damaged this winter. So all of these things are good for homesteaders looking ahead to, do I need to replace any shingles? Is this waterproof? The hoses. Exactly.
Yeah. Elijah, unfortunately, Amy and I both have completely flat property. So I don't think, you don't have any hills on your property, do you?
No, but one thing we do is if we need to empty a hose, we'll hang it over the fence post.
Yeah.
So it's hung up on the fence. It helps.
Yeah, that's kind of stuff we got to do too. But that's good feedback. Let's see. Feed. Do you guys have to modify your feed or how you feed some of your animals in the fall or winter?
Well, if it's real cold and everybody's bodies are working real hard to keep them warm, we'll up their feed. Two of our horses are hard keepers. One's old and one's a thoroughbred racehorse, and they're just hard to keep weight on. So that will be a challenge this winter to make sure, and they actually get fed separately so that they can eat their special food, and then, making sure everybody's blanketed. But the calories go up, especially for those two horses.
Yeah, I know. It's like in the winter, I also try to make sure my pigs were always had pretty full bellies.
Yeah.
I just imagine, I don't know what facts and stuff, but I just feel like having animals that aren't really super hungry by dinner time or in the morning. I don't keep food in front of them the whole time. But I make sure that they get good quantities of food at breakfast and they get good quantity at dinner time. And to me, I just feel like that kind of helps energize or make plenty of heat internally for them. So, I try not to starve them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just looking at our notes here. Next thing I wanted to talk about was you said protection for the animals. What you're doing different now to when it gets colder. You said you're putting blankets on the horses after when it starts hitting 25 degrees.
Yeah.
And you don't think I was listening, did you? I get an A for today.
You do.
But anything you have to do interesting for the cows? For the milking cows?
No, they will all get, they have shelter to get out of the snow and such. And where their feeder is under shelter. So their food doesn't get snowed on or anything. But the cows, it's crazy to look back at the pictures of them from last winter because they will get fluffy coats. God made these animals amazing. And the same with the horses. They will get, everybody's going to get fluffy coats. The goats will too.
Your little pig will too.
Okay. I was curious.
Because Zelda, her hair is really starting to get thick. And in the summertime, she was almost bald. I guess there would be a lot in common. I think the pigs and the cows are pretty much the same. I mean, not putting blankets or nothing on them. They kind of have their own equipment that it seems to modify with the different temperatures. But I can tell you one thing: your little piggy would be just fine in cold weather. So, but he does need to be out of the wind, and he'll probably want good to have a little hair straw in there you can cuddle up in, even if he's 200 pounds.
Yeah, she's not going to be small forever.
No, I can guarantee you'll be surprised how big he is by Christmas time.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll be a pretty good sized pig already. Let's see. So I want to ask you about the milking. If there's any changes, that sounds like the same. The only difference is you got a dress warmer.
Yeah.
Okay, so fall and winter is here, and you got something I don't. Thank goodness, is kids. My kids are all grown up. So for the homestead, you're finding like well, your kids are growing too. That's the other thing. So warm jackets, overalls, good boots, mud boots, all that stuff. How's that affecting the old pocketbook?
Yeah. So far, it seems like everybody's snow clothes, their winter clothes, coats. I think Zoe will actually probably need a bigger jacket. But it is all of these things. This is the time of year, and I've been kind of doing fall cleaning. Everybody does spring cleaning. I do fall cleaning because it's so dusty here. So I've been cleaning, and as I go through, I'm looking at the closets, and hey, try this on, and so far we have found Zoe's going to need a new winter coat. She's outgrown it.
She's gotten, even the time I've known her, she's grown a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting taller.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.
And she, I think she was kind of grown out a little bit, and then all of a sudden she's growing up now and stretching.
Yeah, they do that. They do. They sure do.
Yeah, I think my daughter was like that too. It was like out and up, out and up.
Yep. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, she's a sweetie. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that. I am really glad, because clothing and all that stuff. Elijah has. What breed is your cow?
She is an Angus Jersey cross, and on our Facebook, and then we also have a YouTube, DragonFly Farm. We've got pictures of her. She's brindle. She's gorgeous. She's a beautiful lady.
And I know you got a dream cow to match her up with, but that didn't happen, did it?
No.
She found this bull that looks identical to your meatloaf. Yeah. I mean, I swear, it's like they would have been a beautiful match. They would have made some beautiful babies, no doubt.
They would have. Yeah.
John was asking you to do anything special for the winter for your
water is going to be. I think the rabbits are probably going to be the trickiest for the winter. We don't do water bottles for our rabbits. We do bowls. And so again, that'll be the same thing. Bring them in the house, thaw them out, give them, warm water so it lasts longer, and then some more hay. But the rabbits will go through the same fur changes as the cows and the horses. Everybody's going to get fluffier coats during the winter. As we know, it hasn't frosted here yet, but as it begins to during the colder nights, everybody will get fluffier.
Yeah, including my German Shepherd.
Yeah, and the dogs too, for sure.
So those of you that have heard the story about German Shepherds that they blow out their fur, it's true, and they do it twice in a year. And when they blow out their fur, they really blow out their fur. I've never seen a dog that can. Well, I've seen big fluffy dogs, but man, a German Shepherd, they definitely go with the season, something fierce. And when it changes, it's like, oh my gosh. I've never seen a dog lose so much fur. Anyway.
Our border collie's like that, and we have a long-haired cat, and he is terrible. For when it hit spring, we kept saying we were picking up kittens off of our bed because he loves to sleep on our bed. And we had like half a cat from these long-haired cats.
Yeah, we get that with the German Shepherds. It's like she'll just like find a place and just drop it all. It's like, what? How does a dog shed so bad?
Something else I had on my list for fall is the bugs that come from when weather changes. I was going to ask you if you had any trouble. We're putting in sod tomorrow. And so we were moving some bricks to kind of make an edging, a landscaping. We moved a brick and we found a scorpion. And that was the first scorpion that we found here. Nobody got hurt, and we actually fed it to the chickens. They were happy. He was about the size of my thumb. He wasn't too grumpy, but I was like, everybody get gloves from now on out. So we found a scorpion. I've also been seeing black widows. spiders.
I've seen a lot of black widows. I haven't seen scorpion. I used to have down on Stillhead, but down by your place.
Uh-huh.
I own 5 acres there. I used to see quite a few scorpions there, but I have not seen one in this property yet. So, and black widows, I used to have a lot in the garage, but since we've kind of been cleaning it out and moving things around, they're there, but they're not as bad as they were. But yeah, they're so predictable. I mean, if you took a black tub, leaned it against the house, wait a week or two, come back, guaranteed there'd be one in there. Because you got everything conditioned. It's dark, it's moisture, and it's easily accessible and fly, and they can catch bugs or flies or whatever flies in there. I can guarantee you that's what's so nice about most of the time you never find a black widow where it shouldn't be.
Right.
And same thing with scorpions. They're pretty much predictable. They're going to be under something. And it's most likely not usually in a high traffic area, but every once in a while, like we'd have something in our barn in the old place where we'd lift up a water or something like that, and there'd be a scorpion underneath it and stuff. But I mean, obviously it's a lot better in Arizona. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
And
the other night that black widow on the garage door in the shop, it was right where your hand would go to put the door up. And I was taking milk out at night, and she was right there on the door. And I called Dustin, and on my phone when I was in the shop, I said, "Where's the spider spray? I need it, or come kill the spider for me." And she had gone into the garage door, inside of the door, before he could get me the spray. So I set the can right there. I said, "I'm going to get her." Last night, I got her. I'm sure I used half a can of spider spray. Dustin came out and he goes, "You didn't need to use so much spray." I'm like, well, she's dead. So also you need to buy more spider spray.
Yeah. I've been really fortunate. I mean, when we first got up here, the shop was terrible. We even had not black widows in the house, but we had a lot of spiders in the house because the house sat empty for over half a year.
Oh, wow.
But with all the, having a cat in here and the activities and then cleaning up and all that, it's like that activities really dropped and stuff. But it can get bad. Let's see. What's the other thing I want to bring? Oh, so are you trying to do anything different this year because prices on energy is going up, but to try to decrease the usage of your electricity this year? Or are you doing any changes of how you're heating this year or anything like that?
No changes on things like that are planned. I will guarantee you Dustin will want to keep the house colder than I feel like it should be.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He thinks 68 is an acceptable temperature, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think I'm so glad we put the pellet stove in this house last year, because there's something about when it does get cold, the coolest thing in the world is standing by a fireplace.
Yeah.
And but I didn't want to chop wood. I was like, I'm just too old to be dealing with that kind of stuff. So I went with pellet. But my 80-year-old neighbor that I was talking to when I was talking to you the other day goes, "Yeah, we're putting a wood stove in this week." And it's a wood stove, and he's 80 years old. And he's like, "This guy's invincible." It's like, he's like the greatest farmer ever. And,
wow.
But yeah, so it always makes me look like a wimp.
We do have a wood stove in the shop. And like last year when we were still building the house, we did a lot of stuff out in the shop and spent a lot of time out there. And so it's nice to have the wood stove out in the shop.
Gotcha. I cannot believe, excuse me, how fast the time goes on this show.
I know.
It's like we get yakking. It's like, yeah, make sure I get everything I wanted to talk about. So heating, electricity, that's the same. Anything we can do, Sherry's paying the bills, one of those other automated systems we have here. And she'll mention, where our numbers are every month when we get our billing and stuff. So she will advise like anything that I'm running. Like I'm still running hydroponic things that aren't actually really growing. It's like, shut them off. It's like, okay, that makes a little sense. To save a little money. I don't know how much money it'll save, but I got the little aerators on the hydroponics I could shut down now because we're not doing that stuff anymore. But my electric bill should be better next year because I am shutting down a few more hydroponic systems for next year. So
Yeah.
But not all of it, but just the ones it's like, okay, we mastered these things. I'm done.
Yeah.
So, Elijah. So he was asking, what are we using for heat up here? So what are you using for heat? Is it all electrical or what?
We have electric. We have a couple of propane heaters too, if we would need them with the power out. But yeah, we don't have a pellet stove, and we don't have only wood stoves out in the shop. So
Gotcha.
It's electric, or if that goes out, it's the small propane heaters.
Gotcha. So some of the main things we did when we moved here was for backup systems on the house and the pump house for generators. And then the other thing was putting some kind of other alternative heat in. It may not be able to heat the whole house, but we can heat up the living area pretty good with the pellet stove. And I went with a pellet stove because I can easily run it off a 2000 generator, watt generator. I don't have to use the big one. And so I can just set that outside of the property, run an extension cord through a sliding door, and then power the pellet stove. So that's kind of our emergency backup. But we have some other primitive stuff, but not to go in the house. So that's pellet stove is kind of our backup for keeping the house warm if we lost our power. So.
And are you able to buy your pellets in bulk?
Yeah, I buy them by the ton. And they've gone up a little bit, but it's not too bad still. It's I think it's between $250 and $285, something like that for a ton.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. So, and now about a ton and a half is what we go through in the winter. So, so I got a half a ton now, so I'm ready to buy another ton for the winter, and I'm good they'll cover the whole winter for me.
Good. That's good to know how much you'll use.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it just came out perfect because when the season was over, I had a half a ton left. So it's like,
perfect.
Oh, all right, 10 and a half. My next question I would have is, are you doing anything different for how you're dealing with your food? I don't know. That question can go different ways. It can go with animals or with your family, or you're finding yourself thinking differently about how you're going to deal with your food scenario this year?
Well, we have been doing a lot of canning, and while the house was still being built, we had kind of a makeshift pantry out in the shop. But everything that we've been canning, we are fortunate enough to have a space in the house. It's more climate controlled instead of being out in the shop, which will freeze or get very hot. So the canned goods are in the house and stored. So we feel good about all the produce and stuff that we've been able to put up. We just did some turkey broth. We had a turkey, and so then we made broth the next day and canned that. So we've been doing a lot of preserving. We've got the food up for that, and then so that's for people. We have good stocks, prepped. So we feel good about food for the winter for us and also for the animals. We feel good on both those fronts.
Cool. Well, we're at the 59-minute mark already. I can't believe it. But anyway, once again, guys, I'll let you know that you can find all of our episodes on Central Oregon Radio and also on your podcast, whatever software you like to watch your podcasts on. So, Aimee, thank you very much. I think I interrogated you more than I myself. So, but you got more animals than I.
Thank you to everyone in the audience. This is great interaction tonight.
Oh,
there you're back.
He's back. Jeez. Anyway, it's really good to see you again. And I know you got chores. I got chores. It's getting darker earlier, so as soon as we're done here, we're going to run out to animals. So thank you once again. And guys, thank you for watching the show. And you guys have any questions or anything, if you catch the show after the live part, just leave questions or leave comments, and we'll try to catch some of those comments for the next show. So once again, guys, thank you. And Aimee, thanks again.
Bye.
All right, we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye. This video is made possible by RangerRob Poopy Bags, available on Amazon right now. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. Thanks.